Coming up, we're starting our Swiss chard and lettuce indoors, some of the easiest crops you can grow. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored by the following. MIgardener.com, over 300 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, organic flowers, vegetables, and herb seeds, all for 99 cents. MIgardener.com. Sioux Growing Supply, located in Wausau, Wisconsin, focusing on certified leaf compost, an excellent amendment for poor soil. With their new garden blend, improving soil structure in clay and sandy soil, great for creating new garden beds. Also available from Sioux's, pre-filled trays and pots with professional potting soil mix or organic rice hull-based potting soil mix. Bag and bulk of certified leaf compost also available. Visit SiouxGrowingSupply.com. Stop before you dig. Call Digger's Hotline first. Call 3 business days before you dig. It's the law. It's completely free and it's for your safety. Know what's below before you dig. It's your responsibility. Call Digger's Hotline or visit them at diggershotline.com. HappyLeafLED.com, commercial grade grow light with a home gardener's affordability. No fans, no motors, simply plug in and grow. Great for seed starting to lettuce to full grown tomatoes, all indoors. HappyLeafLED.com. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joey Baird. Today we're going to start our lettuce, leaf lettuce, romaine lettuce, and Swiss chard indoors. Now this is not something you have to do. This is one of those optional plants that you can go ahead and get a jump start on. You want to do this 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in that range before your last average frost date. And the thing with a leaf lettuce, if you plant too early, you can simply harvest it off, eat it, and then let it regrow, and then you can go plant it out in your garden at the appropriate time. So with Swiss chard, you want to plant that in the garden as soon as the soil can be worked. You can also start it again about 4 to 6 weeks before it's ready to go out in the garden. And the advantage to this, there's a couple advantages to reason why you would want to take this step in starting your Swiss chard, leaf lettuce, romaine lettuce, because you'll already have relatively decent established plants. Get a jump start on everything. So we're going to plant in 2 different methods here. One, we're going to start in the Sioux seed starting kit here, and that's simply pre-filled trays that you just have to take the plastic off and plant in. Now if you're in the Wisconsin area, these are available at your local Stein garden stores, so keep that in mind. And then we're just going to go with the simple party small beverage cups here, and we've got 11 here and 11 here. We're going to do leaf lettuce and Swiss chard here. We're going to do romaine in the Sioux seed starting kit here. Now you can start these in the expandable peat pellets without any problem. The thing with the romaine would work well if you chose to go the route of the expandable peat pellets. Swiss chard would as well. Leaf lettuce not so much unless you plant 5, 6, 7 seeds in each pellet, simply because you can get a lot of plants in one little area. And after about 4 weeks of growing in these peat pellets, there's no nutrients in these. You would have to feed them a liquid feed or of some sort so the plants can pick it up, organic or inorganic. So we're going to get, with this seed starting kit, we just take the plastic off. They're already pre-filled. And ready to be planted. They are moistened here. If they're not moistened, you can moisten them with just some water. You can bottom water these until they get hydrated, and that would be the best method to go about, because you want your soil to be hydrated before you plant. With the cups here, we don't have holes in them. We have hydrated them from the top, and it's a little more delicate this way, but you can play around with it. With leaf lettuce and Swiss chard, it's not as damaging to the plant leaf structure as it would be, let's say, for peppers or tomatoes, simply because they're a little more resilient resistant to some of the soil issues that the Swiss chard and lettuces could potentially have, that the peppers and tomatoes do, but these don't really have that big of an issue. So with these here, just regular 4-cell deep trays here, we're going to take the romaine. We've got some red romaine here from M.I. Gardner, and we're going to plant 2 per cell. Now I'm not going to thin these back out. We're going to go, there's 32 cells in this tray here. We're going to do 2 per cell, and we're going to let them grow until they get, you know, a ½ inch, 3/4 inch, maybe an inch established, and just cut out the weaker of the 2, and then have 32 very nice established romaine lettuce plants. Now these will take about 40 to 60 days, maybe 70 based on your conditions. And they are a cool weather crop, so keep that in mind. You don't want to plant these in the middle of July. Lettuces are a cool weather crop. Now the Swiss chard, you can plant that as basically as soon as the soil can be worked. If you're going from seed or from start, you want to harden them off a little bit. But they can grow all the way up to and even into late fall with a slight frost. They're very resilient. And if you like spinach, which is a cool weather crop that goes to seed or bolt relatively quickly as the days get longer and the temperature gets warmer, Swiss chard is your second substitute. Swiss chard is very similar to the spinach, so keep that in mind. So we're just going to take, and I'm going to do the best to get 2 seeds per cell, but these are lettuce seeds and they are tiny. And when I do this, I'm just going to go catty corner, not put 2 right in the same hole, or at least attempt not to. And the depth here, as shallow as you can with some soil on top of them. If you get a little too much soil, don't worry about it. They will still come up. That one I got 2 in that hole. See, we're just keeping it simple, very simple. If you get 2 or 3 in a hole, let it be, it's fine. And then we can go from there. Now, the leaf lettuce in which we are going to plant is going to be some seeds that we have saved here. This is just a regular green leaf lettuce, and there's some black Simpson in here. This is off about 4 or 5 plants. So by saving seed, you can keep it for years to come, but really you want to get rid of it after about 2 to 3 years. That's really your lifespan. You can maybe squeeze 4 years out of it, especially 4 years is your max on your Swiss chard. Your lettuce is kind of in that same way. The older the seed gets on any type of vegetable, the lower the percentage of germination success that you will get. So let's say these seeds are actually 6 years old. I would plant them 3 to 4 times thicker than I would right now because they are much older, and there are going to be fewer of the viable seeds that will actually germinate. So with this, we are going to plant these decent. I'm not going to specifically say, okay, I'm going to put 12 seeds, 5 seeds, whatever. And I got just a skewer here, and I'm going to disturb the soil just a little bit. And then I'm going to take just a pinch and just sprinkle it in. Seems like a lot. It is. But here's the advantage to the leaf lettuce, and we're just going to try to cover them up the best you can. Some of them are not going to get covered up. Some of them will. Now, the advantage to this is whenever this germinates, you're going to have, you saw how many seeds I put in there, let's say there's 2 dozen. It's going to be a very large mass of lettuce here. So at the time of planting, I can take and dump this out and actually divide it down the center and actually have 2 clumps of lettuce plants. I'm not going to divide each plant out because that would disturb the roots too much, but just split it down the center, then you have 2 bundles or clumps of leaf lettuce. Now with the Butter Crunch, this is another variety in which we're going to plant Little Jim butter, or it's a butter head lettuce. It actually has little heads of lettuce, so I'm going to be much more ginger with the amount in which I'm going to put in these cups because they're going to produce heads of the lettuce. So I'm basically probably going to really go about 2 or 3 per cup and then divide them out at the time of planting. This red sail leaf lettuce, again, going to plant it the same way I did our saved leaf lettuce very easily. So I'm going to get those done, and then we'll come back and plant and talk about the Swiss chard because that's a little different of an animal when it comes to planting versus the leaf lettuce and the romaine lettuce. All right, I've got the leaf lettuce and the romaine planted. Now with all of these, you can set these on a windowsill. They are going to, if you're lacking on light, they're going to get a little leggy. The leaf lettuce and the romaine, the leaf lettuce not so much, the romaine you're going to get possible some legginess, which means the plant will stretch trying to get to light. We're going to put them in underneath the Happy Leaf LED grow lights that give them supplemental light, give them enough light in which they don't get that legginess like you could with a traditional tube light. Swiss Chard, we're going to do the same thing. Put them underneath the grow lights as well. Now with the Swiss Chard, we've got Fork Hook Giant as well as a Rainbow mixture. And these seeds here are very large and very healthy looking. So what I intend to do now with these are related to beet or beetroot based on the terminology in which the region that you live in. Each one of these contain not just one, but up to 4, 5, even 6 seeds inside each one of these little clusters. So like when you plant beets, you plant one seed and you get like 3 or 4 plants, and you got to go back and thin so you can actually get a good sized bulb. You don't have to thin these, but you're going to get multiple plants per seed. So my thinking here is I've got 11 cups, and I'm going to do 2 seeds per cup. That would give me 22 plants. I could divide them out just like I would or will do with the leaf lettuce. And with these, I'll probably get 2 plants per side of cup. So that's what I'm intending to do. At my skew here. With these, again, they're very large seeds, so you want to make sure you get them below soil. So instead of just scraping the soil like I did with the leaf lettuce, I'm actually going to make little holes here on each side of the cup and put the seed in there, push it down, cover it up, push that down, cover it up. And then I'm just going to do that throughout. And again, you can direct sow these as soon as the soil can be worked. You want to space these when you plant them out about every 8 to 9, maybe 10 inches. Try to squeeze them a little tighter together to get more in a space. And with both of these, romaine lettuce, leaf lettuce, Swiss chard, a pH balance of neutral 7 is perfectly fine. An average garden bed will work just well. So I'm going to get the rest of these planted, and then we'll talk a little bit about controlling some fungal gnats and getting the best opportunity, best germination rate of all of these. Now with all of our mixes here, we're using Sioux Growing Supply Professional Potting Soil, which contains a slow-release fertilizer, vermiculite, certified leaf compost, as well as peat moss. And that peat moss is kind of that water binding agent in this whole mixture. And it works very well because it has that slow-release fertilizer that whether I'm starting lettuce or tomatoes, a plant that's going to sit in here for 4 weeks or 8 weeks or 9 weeks, the plant is going to be supplementally fed correctly and not going to lack in nutrients. And then when I take it outside, it's going to be a very healthy, happy plant. Now with growing anything indoors, unless you have a soilless, sterile mix, there's the opportunity that insects can be brought in via eggs in your mix. With the certified leaf compost in the mixture of the potting soil, it's a living, breathing organism. It's alive. It's not just a sterile, dead mix like a peat moss would be. So we do have fungal gnats at times because the soil gets wet and the fungal gnats breed and that whole nature thing happens. So we do a couple of things in order to reduce the numbers of fungal gnats in our grow room. One, we'll take a bag of the professional potting soil, allow it to warm up in the house, allow all those bugs inside the soil to begin to hatch, and then we'll take it outside on a couple cold days and allow it to freeze to kill those bugs off. If it's too warm where you're at, and this can be with any type of mix, you can take and put enough soil in a bag that you're going to use and put it in your freezer. Do the same procedure. So that kind of reduces it. Another way is using regular ground cinnamon, which has antifungal properties, which combats the fungal gnats, which eats the fungus in the top of the soil. You want to keep your soil moist, damp, but not sopping wet. So by incorporating just the dash of cinnamon on top, it's going to greatly reduce the numbers. And the cinnamon some people may find it a pleasant fragrance. The fungal gnats do not, and that helps deter them away as well. So by freezing your soil, by using cinnamon, that can really reduce the numbers of bad insects in your grow room in the form of fungal gnats. So whether you're growing leaf lettuce, romaine, or Swiss chard, it's one of the easier crops to start. You can start them inside. You can also purchase them at your local independent garden center. But as long as you, and if you don't know what Swiss chard tastes like, buy some, because these are some of the more expensive crops or items that you can get at your grocery store. The leafy greens can be very expensive compared to some of the other things that you might buy. Thanks for joining me. Join me again next time for more organic gardening, food preserving, and seed starting. I'm Joy Baird.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.